Welcome back to my little channel and my Let's Play about Great War in Europe. It's part 4 and we are finishing today the second turn. It's the non-initiative player phase, and the French had done their move, and on the Eastern Front the Austrians also. And the Russian Tsar made an urgent request to French, to Paris, to help him, because he saw what he don't think about that, and me either, because the French, the Austrian are trying to surround the Russian forces in Galicia, and it is a success because they get a 5-to-1 odds ratio and an attack against the right flank, and this breakthrough is the success key for going around to Rava-Ruska and cutting the supply source for the whole Russian South Army, or nearly more than half of the South Army. And on the left flank also some troops are sneaking around the corner and ready to close the gap. I didn't thought that it could happen, but in the end the Austrians could really stack 6 3-4 units. They were all healthy after the initial assaults from the Russian, and they could be stacked together. They were all in reach, and so he could get 18 factors in a stack. And even if it is a little bit less, then it was not an auto success, but the ratios, the probability were very high that they can make a breakthrough at this front. And yes, the problem is that if the Germans change the initiative, what I had planned, then there's a double turn, and after this success he can easily close the gap. Yes, so the Tsar telegraphed an urgent message to Paris and London and said, help me, I am in danger. And yes, the French tried. I made a lot of thinking about to go to a breakthrough here near Rocroi to make the same here at this point. And yes, the French was in position and they could break the line, nearly, not easily, but really sure. Here there are only 1-stacked units here in the woods, so in the forest, so it would be not a big problem. And but the main problem was they had no supply there, because they had here this little town Mézariès, and from there it was too few. And even with the headquarter, it was located in this hex 246, he only came to this hex here. And the German can reinforce, because after this turn there is the strategic turn, and then came new replacement troops, and the Germans get only 3 little Landwehr units, but they are enough to cancel this big threat because of this headquarter, because he can put one here in, and he could also rail another headquarter to Charleroi and put the third one here, and troops in Charleroi enough. So he had here a double line or a second line, and this opens the supply line from Charleroi to the whole points, the whole troops here in the front. Only this deck would be in danger, really. But yes, there are only 3 divisions, and I think, and the French did think the same, that it's not that it wouldn't be long thinking for the German to opt for these troops for the gain from the Russian masses of troops. And so the French decided to respond to the Tsar very honest, full, and respectful, not honestful, respectful, that he had to retreat and look for a safer position, because when the French made the attack, it was possible, and yes, there was some gains here, but they were standing here on the free ground, and over there, all in free ground. There were no real good defense positions, and the position here where they now stood is behind the river, at high ground, behind the river. It's much better and much shorter and much more compact. And yes, the French prepared, they done their movement, and they prepared the strategic move with these yellow tokens, with these yellow little dices, to fill the gaps in the long front line, and he decided to think about his reinforcements, and he get a lot of reinforcements, a lot of troop with this factor A, a lot of these little 1, 2, 3 units, and a couple of colonial troops, and some headquarter and normal troops as well. So there was a lot of reinforcements, and they get 6 replacement points, resource points, and for these 6 points he bought another 6 units and deployed them here over the front line to the headquarters. And you can see here this little die is the number 1 is the first headquarter, and this headquarter is the first one, and they get the troops here around, and so on, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th headquarter, and the new headquarters located in the towns here, in Amiens, in Soissons. So yes, this is this part. The British forces can set up in the port hexes. I didn't thought about it along because they are out of range. I'll do it later on. And yes, the German, as I said, they if they were in trouble here, they could respond, because this headquarter here in Sabour could be railed by train, or even a lot of troops from the east. And to be honest, the operational movement has to be simultaneously on both fronts. Nobody can see what the other do when they move, but yes, when you play solitaire, it's not possible. And so I thought, it's not fair that the German know exactly that the French doesn't make the attack, and so I prepared some troops here, some rear troops, as possible railing units for Charleroi and Brussels and Namur. Perhaps I need a little bit more, but yes, in the end it was too risky for the French. So the Central Power could anticipate that he can make the initiative change, and can do what he like to do. Yes, and as I said, the Austrians prepared for the attack, and the surroundings in the Balkan theater is nothing, because there is no headquarter, and the Austrian troops have no possibility to go around the front line without headquarter, so they have to wait. And the Germans prepared with their troops to encircle Lodz, and perhaps Warsaw, not really, because Warsaw is in a fortress supply, and the Russian player can put a lot of troops in Warsaw. He couldn't cut the supply from Lodz in this turn, because this hex here is not in supply from no source. They are always too far away, the supply sources, to reach these hex. So this would be open, and he must use his headquarter to go to this point and close this supply gap. Warsaw could be, but Warsaw is, like I said, a fortress, and they have fortress supply. So if they go to Warsaw and they put a lot of troops in Warsaw, then the Germans have to stay there for 2 rounds, and they will better be a little bit mobile to make some other tasks and let Warsaw alone. Yes, so as I said, what I have to do now, I make two die rolls, because yes, first I have to look where my where my dice are, but I see them. A second. So, and now first we roll the dice for this attack. It's a 5-to-1 attack, because there are only six factors here from the Russian. Of course, the Russian could be a little bit better prepared for such a move. It wasn't impossible to be better prepared, but yes, I made the attacks already with all the troops here standing, and so I thought, no, don't change it, because there were every time another hole. Yes, here only 2 units, here only 2 units, and here 2 units. And even I thought about to be fair and say, okay, he put this unit here at this stack, and so it's enough. But then he can go over this stack and then through the forest here. It's so I'll let it where it be, and have to be prepared for the future, a little bit more cautious with the Russians. In my last game, the Russians were steamrolling, and there was not such a chance. So here is a 5-to-1, and he has to flip the headquarter to achieve this. But the headquarter, yes, will flip back in the strategic turn, because they get the ammunition back. Okay, so there can not many be happen, because even with the 1, there are 2 losses from the Russian player. And it's a 4, and so it's even no losses. So the 2 units are gone away, and the Austrian can go forward, and I think they will go with 5 troops, 5 divisions, and now he can easily cut them. He could even try to cut this row, but I thought it's too, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. It was possible, but I don't think that I can go both directions. I have to decide this one or this one to be sure. I have counted to the last point, but I wouldn't do it, because I think this is a big victory for the Central Powers, and this one would be add-on, and perhaps it comes a little bit later, because now are the Russians definitely in the defensive situation here on this front. Okay, so this is the last fight. The English, the British, the Belgian and French don't fight this round. So the turn is over nearly. There has to be done the strategic movements. I can do them quickly, because it's not so much. Here this little teeny force is going to make some backward duties, and yes, this headquarter goes this direction and is ready to rally new troops. And here is 1 unit in the north. This wasn't really necessary, but I would like to do it so this way. So in the defense, there is no column shift against. I have to check it really if it is true, but because in the offense there is a column shift if you attack with 2 different nationalities, but in the defense I didn't think it is this case. Okay, and yes, the Russian can do 8 strategic moves, but I think I will do it later, because they can a little bit think about how they can go, and they can only go to cities and towns in Russian Poland and Russia by themselves, but not in Austria, so they cannot go to Rawałowska and save this spot, because this was another probably good move, but it doesn't work, because he cannot rail to Rawałowska and Tarnopol. As you know, they had different gauges, I think it's the right word from the in English, for the railways, and they cannot use the European rail system. they have their own, and so they cannot really use these possibilities. Okay, what I have to do next is one thing. I will do it in this video because it's only one point. The French get, like I said, the resource points here 6, and the British get 1. But the French has also the possibility to make some urgent replacement, and he can roll. I think he can roll 2 dices for these replacements, and then he get I think emergency replacement. Yes, they can do it every time for the mutiny event. Get 1 victory points for the Central Powers. He roll 2 dice and receive that number of bonus resource points, but a maximum of 7. Yes, the maximum of 7, and of course, perhaps only 2. And yes, you have to do it, and then I can plan these troops as well for the reinforcement and the new deployment here, and that will I do with a little bit patience. So I roll this emergency roll, and it's 7, and it's okay. He gets 7 troops on top. The best what he can do. Okay, and the German gets 1 victory point for this. And yes, I thought about to making a special victory point counter for these, because yes, it's sometimes difficult to remember for what is the victory point. This victory point there is for Brussels, but as you know, in the operational movement, you take some victory points, you forgot it, and then you think, oh, did I count it or not? And yes, so I don't count the Brussels yet, and make these victory points only for these replacements. And I make I will make a separate counter for this then. Okay, this is enough for this video. And what I do next is yes, I do the strategic, no, not the strategic turn. I do the strategic movements and the strategic turn, which is mostly, yes, the reinforcements. What I planned already for the French, and yes, for the Russian there is a little bit on reinforcements. After the reinforcements, not really a little bit. Here are the Russian reinforcements. It's also a lot, and a lot of headquarters. But yes, now with these surrounding here, it will be difficult. But yeah, I will set up this one, and also I think I make the move, and then we can roll in the next video the dice for the next attack, because yeah, the next move is it's the French and British move in the west. They can consolidate their position. They can the position is good, I think, but of course they can a little bit consolidate it, or even make a little better one. I will see. Good. Also, goodbye. See you.